Shield once again back on the blue side. First ban, first pick. The same bans. Cho'Gath, Olaf, and Kog'Maw. They're sticking with it. Blaze banning out in order. Sona, Karthus, and Corki. And you're seeing real quick again. Blaze, Aurelia, Nocturne, Zyra, Vayne, and Diana. The same core for the third game in a row now. Najin, Shield picking up Lulu, Lee Sin, Ezreal, Zilean, and Jax.
And there are some minor changes. I mean, there are changes between each of these games where you can see Najin Shield's like, okay, here's something new we're going to try. It's like they want to beat this strategy. They've decided they're going to beat the Azubu Blaze Diana Vayne strategy. And they just like they have it in their mind. We have to beat it. And they're just trying everything they can, rather than just banning out Diana or Vayne or something like that. Yeah. They want to be able to beat this, and this is a very strong team comp that we've seen Shield run in the past. And this is one of their more M5 kind of strategies, where it's that Zilean, Jax, Lee Sin, and the Lulu as well. So it's a very strong strategy. I mean, they have a very strong team comp. And then one of the benefits is that they have the Lulu this time. So Shield keeping the Lulu, that's actually going to reduce a lot of survivability from Azubu Blaze. That's a key thing. I mean, it's not like, Najin Shield's done nothing and is just hoping that this game is going to turn out magically a different way. So without that Lulu shield, maybe Diana can't dive as aggressively in those early fights. But it's going to be interesting to see if it's going to work out for them, because it is kind of scary to give a team essentially the same comp for the third game after they just beat you with it the first and second game.
And what concerns me though with Shield is that we've seen the comp from M5 before, and why M5 is so successful with it is because without a doubt, Lee Sin and or Jax, one of them at the very least gets ridiculously fed as hell. They're a prime target for that Zilean ult, and they just become a monster in these team fights. And after we've seen, Shield is now on the downturn. If Jax doesn't perform, he's not going to be effective in these team fights. Zilean, he's there to win the lane. In team fights, not as big of a presence. He may be reduced to just the ult. And Lee Sin, he's a risky pick in the jungle. If he doesn't get those early kills, if he doesn't get those early advantages, he can fall behind.
Well, that's the key, is early on in the game, and what we've seen M5 do in the past, Zilean getting the blue. Wow, so that actually sets Makuza behind. Look at how little experience he has already in this game. But one of the key things to what M5 does with this is, like you said, they're very aggressive early on in the game, and it's all about jungle presence. So how much pressure can Makuza put on the jungle? He's already going in. He's going to be able to get a Wraith Steal, maybe even a Red Steal, but the ward caught him out, so that's a really scary proposition. He does have the help from the top lane, and Lulu is coming down to help support him, but he's still only level 1. He does have his smite, though.
He's being collapsed upon. Aurelia and Nocturne both coming on in. The longer he stands here, the more he's falling behind, forcing the flash out. He's not going to be able to grab this red. He throws down the ward just in case, but Diana is now also here to try and prevent this tomfoolery. Mokus is waiting. Vinyl Cat has not actually returned to lane just yet, because they recognize if Lee Sin does not get this red, it's pretty much over for him, because Nocturne is going to be so far over him. He's still level 1. He's not even halfway to 2.
Yeah, Nocturne is almost 3 as well, so they're trying to pressure it. They have the player advantage, or they have the champion advantage, and Hoon's actually coming up as well, so they should be able to take this here, but we'll see whether he peeks in. Helios, he's coming in. He wants to try and steal that. There's the smite. Makuza, he's able to hold on to it, so that is huge. Makuza able to hold on to that red, so that's going to really help him here, but that's the key, is being able to use that Lee Sin aggressively, counter jungle, get off those ganks, and then force fights with Zilean, particularly at level 6. When you have those really long fights, Zillion's just slowly bombing people, and then has those the revive with his ultimate to help you guys out. But we'll see how much pressure Najin Shield can put on them.
Lee Sin is still behind because that was a lot of time spent on his own jungle. Plus, also, he doesn't quite have the timer down on his own red, since that is indeed what Nocturne decided to grab up. But there is the lane swap here. Jax in the 2v1, Aurelia in the 2v1. Nocturne going to be helping up top lane just a little bit. Just his presence should be given Aurelia.
But compare the tower pressure between these two teams. Yes. Almost none up top because Aurelia is able to clear it out, and then bot is almost down. There's the flash for Vayne, so he has to force it. Expression and Makuza trying to force the fight down there, but they are safe, and actually Jax has to back off once again. Just some bombs from Zilean. He's able to wear down Diana a little bit, and Zilean should be able to win that mid matchup.
Every single one of those bombs do quite a bit of damage, and that is a big, huge threat of Zilean, especially when you have someone like Blue Buff. the bombs just don't stop coming. But the blue buff does have to go away eventually. He doesn't have very much time
And
left, I think.
that's usually when Zillion's very weak, is the first couple levels, because
Right.
his mana pool's not very large. He doesn't quite have the damage yet. He has low base stats.
Bombs like 100 mana
right,
each.
and it's also the bombs plus the rewind, 50 mana on the W in order to get the double bomb. So it really is he's a very mana hog champion. So getting that early blue helped him out immensely, even if it sent Lee Sin behind a little bit. But it's allowed him to be really strong in this lane. Lee Sin then tanking the bot lane. That was a really great job by him. So he was able to tank the minions. Otherwise, Vayne and Lulu likely would have been able to take down that turret.
Yep.
And now we see a lane swap, but it's going to turn into a lane swap once again. So they want to get Jax out of that lane. Lulu and Ezreal, they're going to be moving up top again.
Yeah, Blaze making the first move, but Shield thinking that something is up, decides to respond appropriately. Jax going to be in a 1v2 just for a few more seconds. Actually decides to back. So yeah, Lulu and the Ezreal coming now up here to defend this push. Jax going to be heading down bot. Diana
and in the
here.
meantime, Lee Sin, he's actually coming back around the top. So it's a 2v2, but they're hoping it's a 3v2. They actually don't know that Helios is up there waiting in the bushes, so he's ready to fight.
Lee Sin coming in through a round. There's the ward in the river, spotted out, flash away, exhaust down onto Vayne. Nocturne looking to get the kill. Lulu gonna be feared. That is the first blood going to Azubu Blaze. Vayne gonna be falling down next. Zyra looking to keep the push back. The plant's doing quite a bit of damage, but there's Lee Sin almost with just enough damage. Nocturne barely getting out of that one. Meanwhile, in bot lane, Jackson and Aurelia going at it, drinking their potions. Just a little bit of harass, nothing too huge.
But that was definitely to Najin Shield's advantage. So Nocturne got the kill on the support, and that means that it's a 1-up for the ADs. So Ezreal, he's going to pull a little bit ahead in farm on Vayne, but also having that 1-kill lead is going to be really nice. He can try and take that advantage into a gold lead coming forward and try and win in the CS battle. But we'll see how that works. Lee Sin, I almost thought it was going to work for Blaze because Vayne was able to dodge the Q from Lee Sin, so they missed out on some of that pressure. But the AoE and the attack speed slow in particular from Lee Sin is what was able to turn it around. And Lee Sin's one of the best champions in the game at those counter ganks because of the attack speed slow. So is Malphite because of the slow, but Lee Sin able to turn it around in the end for them.
Top lane, the pressure is starting to get to Vayne because the wave is now with the Lulu and Ezreal is such a huge poke combo just in its own. You have the slows, you have the Mystic Shot. That's pretty brutal. And Zyra is definitely more on the aggressive end of those supports. And if you don't have any lane control, if you're forced back to tower, the vines don't seem to do as much.
And the key difference is Zyra's a very strong support. We've seen her played so much, but in the laning phase, Lulu is a little bit more effective in harass. So Lulu's one of the strongest harassers in the game with the Glitter Lance, and then the shields also protect you some. But Zyra is more of a champion that you need to go in for kills. You need to be able to say, okay, we just picked someone off, now let's try and follow it up with some quick burst damage. And he's not really getting those opportunities. Later on in the game, though, Zyra does scale very well into the late game as a support.
And also the ultimate going into those later team fights is absolutely huge. But as we say this, and we say this a lot, if you want to be effective in the mid game, if you want to be effective in the mid game, you have to get there first. For now, though, the waiting phase still going on, and Vayne not falling too far behind in farm, but huge chunks like that do eventually take their toll.
It's the level 7 versus the level 5. So Vayne, is farming, but it's a struggle. Every single CS is a struggle because of the pressure that Bang and Vinyl Cat are putting onto him.
Expression here actually got a pretty healthy wave pushing into Aurelia. It's just Aurelia doing everything in her power just to make sure those waves don't actually hit the tower. Throwing down the ultimate, not only for some farm, but for a little bit of harass down into Jax also. But the minions will actually get their edge upon him, denying themselves over in front of the tower as Lee Sin actually positions himself down here in the bot, looking to cover the lane while Jax goes back and buys himself something nice. He's got the Vamp Scepter Array, Ninja Tabby, and a Longsword too for a little bit extra damage.
And Makuza, he's actually going to be coming in the mid lane, so we'll see if they can actually catch out Ambition, because Ambition's just kind of comfortable farming right now. He hasn't been forced to put that much pressure around the map. He knows he wants to get an early CS lead. He's a little bit behind Hoon right now, mostly because of that blue early on. But we'll probably start to see him roam a little bit. This is around the point in the game where he starts to do that, so they want to make sure they can keep an eye on him and don't allow him to take too much control.
Lots of pings actually from Blaze going down to the South River. They spotted out the Lee Sin. There was a ward in the brush. So they know he'll move appropriately. He will have to back off into his own jungle. Meanwhile, top lane, you got Zyra with the ult down onto the Lulu. Nocturne helping seal the deal. Quick kill for Blaze up top. That is a pretty dead Lulu, and Ezreal has no choice but to shift on back to his tower and go onto the defensive.
And that was such an all-in trying to get it. If Lulu had flashed out of the Zyra snare, then they wouldn't have gone down. But they're able to pick up a kill. That's really huge. Zilean actually making his way up top along with Lee Sin. So they want to make sure that they don't fall behind there. But Expression, because he knows that most of the pressure is up top right now, he knows that he's safe against Aurelia. He can bully her around some. He can farm safely and just kind of slap her in the face a couple of times.
And now Aurelia is getting to that point where she does a pretty good job of sustaining on her own. Between 9, 10, 11 is when she usually has enough points into her kit where she's relatively healthy. Her sustain is pretty damn high.
But it doesn't matter when Zillion's coming in behind the diver
that
tower.
is also true, because Jax can just dive all day if he wants. There is the damage waiting for the revive to throw on him too, just in case. Nice kill onto the Aurelia. Very well done.
And Diana coming down wants to force a fight, but just a little bit too slow. So Najin Shield doing a really nice job. They have enough damage to capitalize on the opportunity before anyone from Azubu Blaze gets down there. And just the damage from Jax versus Aurelia, he's able to slowly win that lane before Aurelia can get any help. Aurelia does have a slight CS advantage, but that kill will definitely help them out some. And now they're actually trying to get some damage on the mid lane. Helios is actually going to force Makuza back, but it's still putting pressure onto Blaze, which is not something that we've seen so far in this series for the most part.
Taking a quick update at the items. Nocturne not quite done with his wriggles just yet. He's just a few quarters short. Vayne doing pretty well, all things considered. Only the one death, the one kill, the one assist is not too bad, but just sticking out top lane as long as possible just to try and catch up. And Blaze actually starting to engage on the dragon over here. Mokuza, Lee Sin, he's going to be coming on in. He's going to figure it out. There is the river is still warded. It's just a matter of can Shield get here in time. Lee and Jax with the pinch, but it's not enough. Nocturne with that smite, going to be picking up an extra 1,000 global gold for Azubu Blaze.
And it's interesting because right now, the ward war, it's being won by Najin Shield. And we'd seen in the past like how aggressive both of these teams and a lot of the Korean teams are with their early warding. They just make sure that they have the map constantly covered. But so far in this game, Azubu Blaze, they actually haven't been using a lot of wards. They haven't been that aggressive with it. Mokuza, he hasn't had oracles. It's just that they haven't been dropping him as much. And it's actually kind of interesting knowing that you're safe to play without those wards. Azubu Blaze knows, okay, yes, we're losing a kill here or losing a kill there, but they're actually more significantly ahead in gold right now than they actually appear, because Najin Shield has put more money into wards, significantly more money than Azubu Blaze is, probably about 1,000 gold more than they have, and it hasn't resulted in any sort of significant advantage for them.
Yeah, Blaze just like, hey, you have us all pushed up to tower. We're just going to be sitting here farming. What kind of traveling are we going to be doing? We're not going on a vacation anytime soon, really. So why make the investment? Pretty good on them. Plus, and Nocturne now finishing up on the wriggles. And now Blaze is starting to ward up. So now they're starting to make that investment. And I imagine that Blaze are going to take an opportunity in the very near future to actually start roaming a little bit more.
Yeah, we'll see if they look for those opportunities. They can still split Najin Shield pretty effectively. It seems that Najin Shield might go in for this blue, so that would be key if they could try and steal this. Expressions here as well. And Makuza can just get over that wall. But it's a 3v3. Azubu Blaze, they can force this.
Lots of pings going down. Blaze knows it. Nocturne going straight on in. Wants to kill Zillion, or at the very least try and force out that ult. Here comes Diana straight towards the back line. Ultimate, ignore Mokuza because he's only going to be coming back. Hoon, is the Ignite going to be enough? Wait for the ultimate to go.
Just too slow.
Could not do it. Quick kill onto Diana. But Aurelia, can you do something in this 2v1? Nocturne with the CC. Mokuza, Lee Sin running around in circles. That is a double buff. Going to be going straight over to Aurelia. Should be more than enough to finish off the Jackson. That is a double. Wonderfully well coordinated there. Meanwhile, top lane, bang, the flash is not enough to get you out of the Zyra ult polymorph onto the Vayne.
And
keep the lane pushed.
And Bang is all out of mana, which means that Vayne's in a good situation to just try and catch up on some of that experience loss and just keep farming. But that bot fight, Nocturne forcing the fight. So Helios diving right into the back line was a really impressive initiation on his part, but then able to get off immediately. And Nocturne's pretty squishy, but he didn't take, he was able to just perfectly time it. He jumps in, then jumps over the wall. So it's that constant like push and pull from Azubu Blaze that we see. It's the fact that they can engage those fights very aggressively, but then back off with the perfect timing.
Oh,
Bang,
wow.
very close to going down. One more attack from Vayne will do it. He gets the pop, gets the kill, and now Vinyl Cat is kind of stuck here, but Vayne coming back, that's huge, because now they're winning all of the lanes. And it looked like Najin Shield, they had a slight advantage earlier on, but Azubu Blaze has struck, and they've struck back hard.
2 minutes, and the game has completely shifted over to Blaze. What was once a very grim prospect being pushed in every lane has now turned himself into a 4K gold lead, now going on to the 16th minute. About to be 5 as this top tier 1 is getting pressured absolutely. Aurelian now here to help finish the job, and that should be going down momentarily.
And there was nothing that unusual about Blaze's strategy. It's the same exact strategy that they've been running all these games, which is just safely farm in the beginning. You know, don't do any. They're not doing anything fancy. They're just kind of safely farming. They're not now allowing Najin Shield to take any early advantages. They're really, it's incredible how successful they are with farming, because that's another thing mechanically. You know, they're significantly stronger than some of the foreign teams we're seeing. But safely farm, and then just, you know, strike here and there, get some early towers, and really quickly that snowballed into a 5K gold lead. So just the one fight.
There you go, down bot. You had the spell shield onto Nocturne. Barely not going to be able to get away the bomb. More than enough damage to keep him out of there. Lee Sin, kick. But you could just kick. It doesn't matter who you kick. They're going to be diving back into you no matter what. It's not going to be enough to keep them away. Aurelian Diana here now pushing up into the mid-tier 1. Retreat pings actually going down. You got Zillion and Jax meandering, transitioning up here into the mid lane. Want to try and counteract that push a little bit. And now Lulu, Vinyl Cat's here too. So I think Shield is just about ready to, like, you know what? F the plan, everyone, mid lane now, push.
Yeah, and it's just, you see that Azubu Blaze, they're kind of always one step ahead of Najin Shield. So Najin Shield coming mid after Makuza goes down, and it was Azubu Blaze, they had a nice reaction because they saw, okay, Zillion and Jax, they're bottom, so we know if we engage mid, we're going to be safe, so they can tower dive. But Najin Shield, they are trying to group mid, mostly just to, you know, take the pressure off of that turret. They don't want to lose that mid turret. Once that mid turret's down, considering that the top and bottom are already down, that just completely loses the map for Najin Shield. And Azubu Blaze would just be in control of such a large portion of this map in this game. So we'll see if they can hold on to that a little bit longer. Expression, he still has the advantage over Aurelia. He's trying to chase him down, but Nocturne's coming down as well. Paranoia is up, and he does back off for a moment. Yeah,
Jax throws up the ult and then immediately walks away. But it's okay. That ultimate is not the longest cooldown in the world. It should be back up in just a little bit. Lee Sin making his way down from the South River, going to be spotted out by multiple wards. Does he have an Oracles now? Yes, he does.
Which is kind of funny considering he just died where they towered over him. But if he can hold that Oracles, it'll give him some benefit. You know, we're seeing some wards now for Azubu Blaze. You know, so trying to be aggressive. Like they decided, okay, early on, first couple of minutes, we're going to be kind of passive. We're just going to sit back. But now they're at that point where they're looking to pressure Najin Shield some. They're dropping those wards. So that is going to be nice for Makuza to grab some up. And he does walk right past one, but he wants to make sure he can get the one over on the dragon here and just be safe. I'm sure he must have noticed it. They pinged it off.
Yeah, they did ping it off. It was like, you know, there's more important things at hand like this dragon, because, you know, that's time wasted. There's Lee Sin with the smite going to be able to secure it. Zyra ult getting a pop up onto 2. Nocturne going straight in once again for the Zillion, forcing the flash out, and Expression is all over on his lonesome, trying to run amok, but he had the Zillion ult up on him. It is no longer down. That is Q for Vayne to go in for the kill. Vinyl Cat forcing the flash out, double kill for the Aurelia Hoon. It's all about protect the old man. Get back to your home, Grandpa. Azubu Blaze 2 for 3 on that one.
And Azubu, you see in those fights, Azubu Blaze does a great job of splitting. There's the snare over the wall. He doesn't hit anyone with the snare, but almost grabbing them, so they do back off. But Vayne, it was actually a great positioning battle for Azubu Blaze, because Vayne wasn't with the team. But instead of Najin Shield couldn't engage on Vayne. Captain Jack just did a perfect job of constantly ducking in and out, and so it kind of split their attention. They had Diana and Nocturne diving in on one side, but they had Vayne on the other side, and so you saw for the beginning of the fight, half of the members of Najin Shield weren't doing any damage. They were just kind of sitting around trying to, see who they could pick off, and that lack of focus against this, heavy initiation melee team from Azubu Blaze, it meant they weren't able to kill people as quickly as they would like. The Zilean ult, it did have great effect because it allowed Jax to be a little bit more aggressive. The ult didn't actually pop because they were able to stall off long enough, but there was a period of time where, Jax was chasing him down. He was able to grab Nocturne. He was able to threaten Vayne a little bit before that ult went down, but once it went down, that's when Azubu Blaze was able to turn it around, and they were all very already very low from the Diana pressure.
Yeah, that's the best thing. Hey, Zilean, his ult is up on somebody. What do? Ignore him. That's really the most ideal thing you can do. It's like, yeah, just make sure that whenever you use it, it does go to waste. Just a few extra seconds. Nothing too huge. No, you're not in too big of a rush. Looking up on the upgraded items, Vayne, this is a little bit unusual. Went for the Infinity Edge first instead of going for the Phantom Dancer. A little bit strange, but gonna be a lot of damage. Now down just onto Diana. Needs to get away, trying to get away as best he can. Blaze could not actually catch up with him, but the burst actually forcing out the Lulu ult, which is a little strange. But then again, we know that Shield, they are still afraid of the Diana, and that's definitely one of the reasons why. Even now, even when on the back turn, still a lot of burst
even
available.
Catching Ambition out of position, he almost got out. He was right about the edge where he had his flash up, so he almost got the flash over the wall. But also, he almost killed Lee Sin, so they needed to pop the Lee Sin ult. Oh my god.
Oh no.
They needed to pop the Lee Sin ultimate in order to be effective there. But there we go. So Makuza is very safe. But they do back off, and yeah, we'll see, how Najin Shield can, react now. It's a 4v5 situation, but it was a really monumental effort to take down Ambition.
Yep. So with that kill, that is still a 4K lead for Azubu Blaze. Vayne now free farming down bot at this point. Should actually have the full Phantom Dancer in no time. You also got the push here in mid. Aurelia and Zyra just on their own. Zyra holding on to that Oracles. And now Hoon left with Old Man and his bombs. Here in the mid farming. His ult is also back up for the next team fight too. But hopefully next time he'll actually be able to save someone who does actually die. But then again, great coordination from Blaze just to do the dance, wait till the ultimate is finished, and go in and zoom for that kill.
And one of the nice things for Shield is that if you notice, Ezreal, rather than going for that Trinity Force first, he actually went for the Bloodthirster, which gives him a little bit more sustained damage, so that he can take down some of those melee champions for Azubu Blaze, because that's going to be key. With Trinity Force, he has a little bit more burst, but maybe he doesn't have enough damage to take down Diana, to take down Aurelia and Nocturne.
This is a little bit strange, though, because when you see Ezreal actually go for the Bloodthirster first, you usually find them, at least if the one piece of the Trinity they build is usually Phage, not Sheen.
But that's usually if they're trying to win the lane. And at that point in the game, Vayne had already taken back control of the lane. Vayne was already splitting. So the Phage is mostly to give you a little bit more survivability, but have slow so that you can chase down for harass. Sheen gives him a little bit more damage in fights, so it's that quick burst that he would miss if he went with the Phage. The Phage would be a little bit more damage to survivability, but he's not that concerned about survivability.
He's got Zilean.
Right, he's got Zilean. But then another thing that the Bloodthirster helps him with is because the fights are so long and Azubu Blaze just slowly wears them down, having that Bloodthirster, that lifesteal, it helps counter out some of the slow poke from Azubu Blaze.
Yep, the regen. If you're ever in trouble with poke, if you have a very sustaining champ or even something that gives you a lot of regen, i.e. Baron buff, absolutely huge help there. So Shield grabbing up to tier 1 in mid, content with their results. Going to back off just for a second. Zilean, is he backing? It looks like he is, or at the very least is taking those rays. There you go. Was he buying for himself? He's getting that. He's getting that wand. Looking to build big damage from here on in. Probably going to go for that death cap next, just so those bombs hurt that much more because they have a very good ratio on those. There you go. Ezreal, part 2 of the Trinity. Phage is now complete. Also, you look over onto Azubu Blaze. Nocturne with that Aegis going to be helping his team tank up. You have Aurelia with the Trinity, and you also got the Warden's Mail too. Going to be looking into the Randuin's Omen next instead of the Guardian Angel this time around. We mentioned the Infinity Edge onto Vayne, and Diana starting to tank up. Goes for the Abyssal this time first instead of the Zhonya's.
Yeah, and so one of the issues is going with the full defensive items that they had in the previous games. It maybe, Najin Shield learns to not focus them. With Aurelia, for instance, if Aurelia had gone for that GA immediately, then maybe they can leave him alone. Expression trying to chase down, actually flashes to get that stun, but there's the Condemn knocking back. Nocturne, he is caught though. They're trying to chase him down, but Makuza's very low. Vayne just crushing him. They force the Lulu ultimate, and Azubu Blaze, they're in a great situation in this fight.
Vayne is forced on out to the end, but there is the Lee Sin kill. Hoon isolated. There's the ultimate, but he's not going to be able to do a whole hell of a lot even when he does come back. There is the Q. Flash over the wall. Aurelia wants this. There's a Shrike getting the slow. Looking for the rewind, but Hoon is not enough. Double kill for the Vayne. Double kill for the Aurelia. Masterfully done. No deaths for Blaze at all.
Well, that was a scary fight because Azubu Blaze just destroyed them. I mean, Najin Shield, they were hard to even playing that fight, essentially. Azubu Blaze just, was in complete control of them. And that's kind of what we've seen with this team comp that they run every single time they run it, is how effective they are in team fights. And now we see they're split right here, but they're going to get a Baron off of it, and that makes it even more difficult for Najin Shield to come back. But Azubu Blaze's team fight control with this strategy is just beautiful. And you saw Vayne was able to take down Mokuza, Lee Sin, even through the Lulu ultimate almost, and through the Zyra ultimate onto Lee Sin. So it's just so much pressure from the Vayne, but there's so much pressure from all the champions from Azubu Blaze, and they were able to just run them down.
The tornado now in full effect. Now with the Baron buff, everything is complete. Blaze now with a very commanding 9k gold lead on the 26th minute. At the very least, Shield can squeak out a dragon, but as soon as they're done with this, they have to go back into defense mode because Blaze, they will be definitely pushing up at least one of the lanes.
But one of the issues for Najin Shield right now is they don't have a team that can force fights. They don't have the initiation that they had in game number 1 and 2, where maybe they can pick someone off from Azubu Blaze to make a miracle comeback. I mean, at this point in the game, they have a team that is designed for team fights. They can't force any initiation, and they're losing the team fights terribly. And so all they have right now, all Najin Shield has, is to sit back, play defensively, and then try and hold off. They are going to engage, though. The snare doesn't hit, but Hoon, he's caught off. He's forced to use his ultimate already, so the ultimate is down. And now Diana forcing off Expression on one end, but Zillion, he's going to go down, caught by the rest of the team, and Azubu Blaze is in a great situation here to turn this around.
He's just struggling to get out, but it's okay. As soon as you see the rest of the team, you are on out of there. Nocturne diving on in for the initiation. Lulu ult not going to be enough to help out the team.
And the Natfly Ezreal hardly doing anything on the side as they take down his allies.
That's it. One more attack. That is going to be it. That is going to be the ace. Triple kill for the Vayne. There's not a whole lot that Najin Shield can do at this point. The tier 2 in mid goes down, the tier 3, and of course the inhib going to be going down also, but that's it. We're not going to see the rest of it because that is a surrender. Azubu Blaze, your Korean representatives, coming to IPL5 in a very convincing 3-0 over Najin Shield.
They have such a strong team comp. They're very happy with it. It's going to be interesting if people can tinker with it. I mean, there's a lot of time between now and IPL5 where the teams that they're going to match up against are going to be able to take a look at this strategy and say, okay, what can we do that's going to beat this? Because it really is a very impressive comp that they're running. They're able to win all of the team fights. But congratulations once again to Azubu Blaze. We will see them at IPL5, and that I know that's a team that everyone's been hoping for.
Oh yeah, and I think I will say with complete honesty, I think some of the teams that are going to be going are going to be unprepared for this.
Of course.
I've talked with some of the players.
I mean, let's be honest.
I've talked with some of the players about some of the stats that we've been gathering, and they're like, "Oh, well, you're way ahead of us." It's like, "Oh, why? What research have you done?" None.
There's so many teams for them to look into.
There are so many. But
there's so many teams.
And to put things in perspective, we've ran the numbers so far, and if our numbers are correct, just on Diana alone, Azubu Blaze has a 91% win ratio. Just on Diana.
And that's insane. I
That's
mean, you
huge.
know, for them to almost never lose with this kind of strategy, but everyone's going to be gunning for them, I think.
yeah.
And it really is. I wish we could have more of these Korean teams at IPL5, and I know all you guys do too. If you look at Azubu Blaze, Azubu Frost, Najin Sword in particular,
Yeah.
Najin Shield as well. All 4 of those teams are arguably top 10 teams.
Right.
And I think most people would agree with that assessment. So it would be awesome in the future. We're not saying
we're not
tournaments.
counting it out completely.
But IPL5, you have Azubu Blaze, who I think we have to all agree, hands down, is the strongest Korean team right now. They are incredibly impressive.
Yes.
Azubu Frost is probably the number 2, but Azubu Blaze is going to be there. Taipei Assassins, the number 1 team in the world, is going to be there. Maybe
Yes.
Azubu Blaze can avenge Azubu Frost some.
That would be
against
interesting.
Taipei Assassins.
That'd be interesting.
Moscow 5 is going to be there. TSM, the American hope right now, but maybe some of those newer teams coming
Right.
in as well. CLGEU,
Yes.
World Elite. They've been really strong in the World Championships as well. So
and we know that teams like World Elite, a lot of the Asian teams, China, Southeast Asia, Korea, they actually do scrim whenever they can get the chance. So there's a lot of information being shared there. There may be something the Asian teams are practicing with each other that we may not know. And that's the biggest thing too, is that when you play up against a Korean team, you're not playing up against a team. You are playing up against Korea. Like, I'm sure that there's going to be so many scrims and so much studying, so much information being passed back and forth, not only between Blaze and Frost, but probably between Shield and Sword and maybe some other teams like Zenix and the rest of them, just to prep them, just to make sure that they can destroy everyone once they get to Vegas.
it's going to be scary. It's going to be very scary. But
Yep.
Congratulations. We're excited to have them. We're excited to see them come.
Yep.
So definitely, guys, keep an eye on IPL5. Once again, there's that giveaway,
Yes.
IGN.com/IPL5 giveaways. You can check that out.
Yep.
VIP tickets to IPL5.
Five pairs.
5 pairs, yeah.
Along with the swag bags to go along with it. So if you're
And
thinking
honestly,
about coming,
if you were on the fence about coming, if you could just enter. If you are able to win this, if you're able
Yeah.
to win the VIP tickets, it might just be worth it for you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, figure it out because it's
And-
going to be a fun tournament.
and a reminder, like what the VIP ticket actually offers is that you get front row seating for most of the weekend.
Front row seating,
You can actually watch the group. You actually get to watch the group stage on Thursday.
on Thursday, which general admission will not be able to, and that's
Yeah.
been announced
A
previously.
lot of extra perks, and also, I mean, you get the swag bag too, T-shirt, dogs, shot glasses. It's good, but it's just a bunch of cool stuff in those bags too. So maybe a few little surprises here and there. We'll see. I don't know, but we're done here. We have one more qualifier remaining, and that is the wild card. Should be going through that this week. The voting, we'll see who the 4 American teams who will be going in to compete for that. We already know that CLG Prime and Quantic are now both in. You have to figure out the business between the other 2, but we'll give you news on that shortly. We are done. Thank you guys for joining us. We will see you guys next time.